Hey everyone, Abraham Carranza coming to you from My Mastermind. Thank you guys. We are going live now on our Facebook, Instagram platforms, and we always give you guys a little bit of value, give you at least 45 minutes of value on our live streaming, and we let you guys get to see what we talk about in our seminars and give you a better insight on what you're missing out. And the truth is what would you normally be doing at this time? What are you going to do after this time? However time you last, whatever time you stay on, however long you stay on this call. What would you have normally been doing? Who are you? What do you do? How do you do it? How do you use your imagination to create your reality? You've been doing it all this time. But the average individual is creating their reality according to what they know, according to what they believe is possible, what they think is possible. And we're going to go through this 45 minutes with you. We're going to give you as much value as we can. If you guys want to sign up, Autumn, if you would, share this. Make sure we put the link on there. Anybody that wants to sign up, and I am going to see. Yep, I've got it now. I am sharing. If you would go on mine as well and put the links and share this so that we can give as many people as much value as we can and really help people learn more of what's possible. And the truth is anything's possible. Everything that we are is creative by nature. And if you're not using your creativity to change the nature of the appearance of things, you're living more or less the same, and you're going to do that for a long time. So depending on how old you are, this dictates where you'll be in the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years. Your imagination is creating reality. But the average individual's imagination is being controlled by their beliefs, controlled by programming, controlled by fears, doubts, and worries. The average individual is truly not creating the reality. They're letting conditions, circumstances dictate where they go, what they do and they do not do. They're also letting past programming, past beliefs control how far they go in life. Did you know that we are the only ones, as far as we know it, it's been communicated around the world, that we are the only ones that can go beyond nature. We use our imagination. Everything that you see in reality, everything that is man-made is human-made. It's created by Hu and man, which means higher consciousness in man. If we were to take that creative nature, that creative spark of man, and we were to eliminate it from the man, we would have an animal again. And look at everything around you. Look at everything. Everything beyond nature has been brought down by a human. Somebody that can go and tap into, someone that has access to what we call consciousness. And we are doing this investigation, and we are doing this research, and we are doing this development, and we are doing it internationally. And we're also teaching this information internationally. I work every week at developing myself. I work every week at learning more about myself, developing myself to go beyond where I'm at. I worked on myself every morning, and then I work on myself all throughout the day, learning to experience more out of life, learning to serve more, to give more, learning to go beyond what I know. And I am in a complete ritual of personal development, as well as doing the research. I brought on Ricardo Rojas as well. He's from Lima, Peru. And I'm going to introduce him here and now. He's been working with me. We've been working closely together for a little while now, and we've been doing research on consciousness. And he's got 48 plus years in neuroscience and neurofeedback, 30 plus years in neurofeedback, as well as 30 years in transcendental meditation. And I found Ricardo because I was looking for somebody that had years of experience in consciousness, human awareness, the brain, the mind, and somebody that himself is looking for the origins of consciousness. There are no accidents in life. We always find what we're looking for, if we're willing to look for it and find it. If you're not, you'll find what you know. And we're gonna break this all apart, and we're gonna put it all back together, and we're gonna do this in the time that we have. And again, we do these classes Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. English, 7 a.m. Spanish, all year round, teaching the law of success. And then we are teaching our programs that teach people how to reprogram. Programs are going to be creative lifestyles. That's done during the week for people that need to go on during the week. We have our mastery lifestyle, and that's on Saturdays. And we are also doing the Thinking Results Business Matrix program Saturdays. And then Inner Circle is being done on Wednesdays for your higher achievers, or people that really want to tune in with people that are high performers. Meditations, English and Spanish, we're doing those on Saturdays. You have any questions, send me a message, as well as we also have a subscriber platform, and we are giving you guys for $4.99. We are giving you value throughout the week. We're giving your weekly digest, and we're also giving you the opportunity every Saturday to jump in our calls and have access to our meditations as well. So you guys have plenty of opportunity, and every Tuesday we give a free classroom for you guys every Tuesday, and we do that, live stream it on Facebook and Instagram. Again, a lot of value. All you have to do is show up. Show up for you. You wouldn't show up for me. You show up because you believe there's something in you and you want to develop it. You want to go beyond yourself. Now, we can do that. I can give you information. I can demonstrate it in an action. But you will never learn the thing until you can demonstrate it on your own. And that's the master key to success. Education is not teaching people things. It's teaching people how to behave as they would have never have behaved. You see, I was on the road to mastery many years ago. That road to mastery was educating myself, my mind and brain and body, to act and behave as it would have never have behaved. All these years I've been in the mastery, and I was re-educating myself to act and behave as I would never have behaved. How do we do that? We do that through intervention. We do that with goals, goal setting, goal achieving. And then we're supposed to practice that out throughout your week. But you're normally practicing what you know, and that's the problem. You see, we do not have problems, we have programming. The programming is the problem. Mr. Ricardo, Dr. Ricardo, you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Just a little quick briefing. Could you let us know just a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Okay, glad to do that. Hi, everybody. I'm Ricardo Rojas. I'm a neuroscientist. I'm talking to you from Lima, Peru. I've been in this business of understanding consciousness, the brain, the mind, for the last 50 years of my life. I partake of a worldwide group. It's called In Search for the Origins of Consciousness that exists. You can Google it. It was started by Stuart Hameroff and then was taken up by Roger Penrose. Stuart Hameroff is a buddy, he's my friend, and he is an anesthesiologist at the University of Arizona. And Roger Penrose, he's a celebrated Nobel laureate in quantum physics. They both, Stuart and Roger, they both took up the desafío, the challenge of producing a worldwide proposal of what is the origin of consciousness. They did it between the two of them. Myself, on my side, I also have a proposal into what is the origins of consciousness. It's called the ICS model. IC stands for Identity System. And there I am proposing that the brain, the mind, and consciousness are three different, separate, inseparable phenomena, but they act all at the same time. Reality is everything at the same time. And it is possible to understand all of them, all three of them, and the interaction between all three of them to understand a fourth phenomenon that emerges from that interaction, which is you, the observer, you. that person about whom Abraham is talking about, you. That in a nutshell, that's what I do. I'm also a TM teacher, a TM instructor. I'm also a facilitator of neurofeedback, and I've developed several other programs of my own. That's it, buddy. Is that enough?
Maybe a little bit about your education. I know you were brought up grew up in Peru, private school you went to. Kind of maybe a little bit
Yeah.
of your upbringing.
Okay, yes, I was brought in Peru, in Lima, by my parents were Peruvians, total Peruvians, very poor ascendant, descendant. My father was a private accountant, and he did his best to be able to give me an education in an American school. And I studied in an American school of Lima called Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And I learned English ever since I was 4 years old, and I graduated when I was 16. And then immediately I went as an exchange student to New York in an exchange program. And I stayed there for about 6 months as an exchange student. And my father said to me, I'm willing to forfeit the plane ticket for you to come back if you can get into university once you're there, and which I did. And I stayed there and never saw him again. He died in the interim. And I stayed there studying biology with preparation to be an oceanographer or to be a marine biologist. I didn't know at the time. So I studied what is required to be a biologist and also preparation for medicine. And then the last 3 semesters, I changed from biology to psychology. And the last semester, I changed to neurosciences. And that's where I found that my calling. You know? My calling was, I knew there was something in me that could provide a very important proposal for understanding what consciousness is. And this is what I've been doing these 50 years. And I've been working on it conceptually. I'm a conceptual theoretician of consciousness, a neuroscientist of consciousness. And this is what I've been working on. And suddenly, about 2 years ago, I met coincidentally with Abraham, and we both found each other in the sense that I was aiming for the same thing he's aiming. What we want to do is give people the tools, literally the tools with which each and every one of you can take charge of your life and pick up your life from wherever you are right now to the highest possible achievement you can make with your life, you can do with your life. And the highest possible achievement can either be the millions you want to make outside, which for me is secondary. To me, the primary thing is for you to discover that you are actually consciousness itself, observing the observer that is inside of your mind. For you to describe that is a beautiful thing. For you to live that is even more beautiful. That is what makes you completely happy. So this happiness, the plentifulness of life is 200% its worth. 100% inside of you, 100% outside of you. Both of them makes 200 the whole value of life. This is what we want to give you. We want to give you the tools so that you can actually achieve that, find that, express that, manifest that in your own life. That's what we are all about, our pulling together our tools, Abraham and I. Is that okay?
Thank you, Ricardo. They should also be giving you access to share here in a little bit. And
yeah, I have it.
Okay, good. So we're gonna be touching in different areas of consciousness and consciousness and conscientiousness, right? And the difference in it, the difference between a higher unified field of awareness and then the level of awareness that each individual has and why they're so significantly far apart. You know, by nature, we're all the same. But by habit, we become worlds apart. By nature, we're all the same. By habit, we become worlds apart. And I'm going to touch on the stick person a little, just so that we have order when we're talking about energy and mind. Now, we're going to be talking about different parts of the mind, and as we go into the words that we're using, we're going to break them down because it's very important to get a good analysis of the words that we're using and the application. What is the movement of that energy and how does it work? And if we don't understand the movement behind a word, we really don't understand it. Much less will we be able to express it. And again, I said it, I'm going to keep repeating it. Education is not teaching people things. It's teaching people how to behave as they would have never have behaved. There's one thing to have an idea, But there's another to be able to bring that idea into your brain, fire and wire new neural pathways, and then be able to take that neural pathway all the way down past talking about it to the feeling about it, to the action on it. Now, we're going to be covering a little bit about your energy centers because, yes, your energy centers have memory. And a lot of people don't know when they get stuck. But as this energy flows and you're trying to go beyond what you're normally programmed to do and to be, when you get to your solar plexus, the average individual kicks the idea out. This is completely normal. How many of you have had dreams or had a vision, but when it comes to doing it, for some odd reason, fear, doubt, worry, and you cannot cause yourself to take the actions that you need to take? Well, your solar plexus, this energy here, here lies your self-image. Your human personality, identity. Although every energy center has identified itself with its prior knowledge. But when it gets to the doing part of your personality, solar plexus, your desires come from your sacrum, root. All this area has been filled with information, vibration, and energy. It's very important to understand as you take a vision or a dream, and if it's foreign to your body, if it's foreign to your family, the average individual rejects that idea. They cannot go and act it out. And even if they try, they let it go. They let that energy go back into the ether. It goes back into the field of consciousness, a unified field of consciousness, whatever you want to call it. It goes back into this field, and the old energy goes right back into place, and you're right in performance, right in action of what you already know. And this happens in a multi-milliseconds. Your consciousness is always thinking. Education is not teaching people things, it's teaching them to behave as they would never have behaved. Through this process, we're going to be teaching you about bringing an idea down and how to take it all the way past every energy center and actually get in harmony with it. Because the minute you stop working on a vision beyond your reality, you go back to what you know. I watch people do this all the time. I'll even call them up and say, "Where are you going? What are you doing today?" And guess where they're at? They're right on plan with what they know. We discuss in meetings prior about where to go, who to go talk to, who's the target. And for some odd reason, when nobody's looking, I'll make a phone call. "What are you doing? Where are you going?" And guess where they're on? Guess what track they're on? They're not going to the target. Why would somebody not go towards their vision, Ricardo?
Because they're programmed by their past and they don't have a vision. There's two things at the same time, no?
What visions do they have? They have two visions at the same time, but they have one that's more dominant than the other, right?
Yes, the one that is programmed by what they already know, so they never ever question that which they don't ever know. They don't know it. So what's the sense of trying to question something you're not aware of? If you want to question something, you have to first be aware of that. Thus, once you're aware, then you can notice its action in you, and then you can do something to modify it.
What if you are aware and you still
can't?
It's not possible. What if you are aware and you still don't modify it?
Because then you are being aware from within the program that allows you to be aware. And the thing is that we have to be able to interact in a different way with that program so that program can be totally disassembled and out of your system.
This is real, guys. This is really real. It's happening to you. It's happening to me. It's happening to everybody around the world. It doesn't matter where you were raised. It doesn't matter which family you were raised in. It doesn't matter if you were raised in the most wealthiest family. Everybody reaches the point where they cannot go beyond what they know. I've met wealthy people that are stuck. I've met wealthy people that are not happy. They're not happy with the outer ring that they see outside themselves. They're not happy with the outer ring. I have met people that were impoverished that are not happy with the outer ring. I've met people in medium lifestyles, they're not happy with their outer ring. It doesn't matter where I go around the world, I always find intelligence, or we can say the mind, conscious individuals that are not happy with the exterior reality. So it doesn't matter who you are, everybody runs into this. But it's very rare that you will find somebody work their way out of it, build the thing they want, achieve the thing they desire. Rare. Why? Because they don't understand this information. I'm going to start off with the mind and this image that we're showing on this side. This side, we do not see. We do not see energy. The average individual does not see energy. But this energy, this consciousness, we'll say consciousness is a unified field of energy. Immeasurable. All-seeing. It's in every place at the same time. That's why you can grab your phone, and some of you are live streaming this in other countries. Why? Because it's energy that sees. You can tap into this field of energy, and you can actually be live, and you can hear me with no wire. Why? Because there's this field that we can hyper jump and we can tune in. You can open an eye in any place around the world. You can also hear, and you can listen, and you can also live stream images. Isn't that amazing? You can live stream images from the nothing because there is no time and space that separates it. Faster than the speed of light. And then we have the thing we call the mind. Now, here we have the mind, and the mind is the perpetual transmutation of thought energy. So here we have an energy that is assimilating, thinking, generating, measuring. We call this mind the observer. But what's so misunderstood is the connection between the field of consciousness and then the individual mind. And who gets a little more access and who gets a little less access, and why does she look like she has more, and why does he look like he has more, and why in the hell does he have so much less? We're always measuring, right? What about him and her and they and them, and what about me? What about me? What dictates how much access I have to this unified field of consciousness? Go ahead, Ricardo. What is it? If you're talking, your mic is closed.
What dictates if we have this access to the unified field of consciousness is if the observer is capable of being conscious or not. If the observer is conscious of his own existence as such,
his own existence,
of his being as such, then it will have automatically, nature will provide a connection, a live connection to consciousness itself, to the unified field as you're calling it.
Would you say that individuals that we characterize geniuses, they have a more closer connected link?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
What do you consider a genius?
The thing is, you see, you can be in your professional life, you can be really a bright human being with a lot of contributions to make to humanity, as we have already had. No, Tesla's one person who did that, and more in modern life, you have Elon Musk and you have Einstein in the middle. These people really existed and they did contribute. That's in their professional lives. But we also have a personal life, and in our personal lives, that's where we are handicapped, literally. Because we have not put enough energy into working the nature of our own personal lives. In our personal life, there's an observer that is stuck there. There's an observer that is stuck there.
Our personal
existence. So in your professional life,
say?
Oh yeah, indeed, the personal, indeed, definitely, it's stuck. If it is stuck, then there's a distance between the observer stuck in his personal life and consciousness itself. But on the other hand, you can have access to consciousness itself through your professional line of connection.
And the professional line may take you to a higher consciousness. Why?
Oh, yes, it will do that. It will do that because it allows you to work with that which is beyond you without being stuck in that which is underneath you, which is the programs your parents told you or society told you or your culture told you. You're not stuck on those things in your professional life. So out opens a connection to consciousness itself, to the field from where you can get all these ideas, all this information that you can put into your imagination and start doing things outside from there.
Let's break this down a little. So, life after education, a profession, allows you to have more access to the field.
Are you asking me?
Yes. Or does it influence you to have more access to the field? Think about that.
Well, I would say it all depends, because there are some people, like, for example, in my case, I've been born to do what I did. It took me a lot of years, about the first 25 years of life, to discover that I was born for something. I didn't know at all because of my so-called education. It did not allow me to discover this in me until I was about 25 years of age. And then I started discovering step by step by step by step. But I was made to do this. And I was made to discover it somewhere at some time in my life. But there are people who are made not to discover this thing. They're made to discover something else, or they're made to create something else, which
Very
is that
good.
thing of discovery.
So, but that would come from an excitement, right? That would come from a passion, would you not say?
Oh, yeah. There has to be that passion. A passion nudges you. A passion nudges you. You don't nudge it. It nudges you. It
Very
moves
good.
you.
So let's
into
look
action.
at this. Now, here we have, and I'm going to go through it real quick. You guys should be looking at this. If you don't know it, you need to get involved with it, because you will never go anywhere beyond yourself. And the self is the problem. Mind, what is it? Consciousness. It is a conscious observer of what? The average individual is the observer, and what he or she observes is what they know. Why? Because as they came into reality. But this reality was actually a program. They came into the what? The reality of mother's DNA, father's DNA, and they came into all the ideas in that framework. They fell into this consciousness. And as spiritual beings, we come into a body. And as you come into the body, you get direct access and direct programming, genetic coding from the thing they call DNA, and then they call environment. So, as spirit, energy, comes into consciousness, it is actually falling into consciousness, and it begins to accept. It cannot reject. It begins to accept all the information as reality. They do not reject, they accept everything that's happening. At some point in time, you were programmed what was possible and what wasn't possible. You would say, my family never taught me what was impossible. They never directly, no, they showed you what was impossible by the way they believe, by the way they act, by what they do. You don't get programmed just off of words. And the truth is, what you really do is not what they said. It's what they were doing. That you got it down. And that is the problem. On the lowest parts of your personality is the doing part of your personality, what you do. This part is what's controlling and the contribution to everything outside of you that you see today. Not what you say, but what you do. This upper half, conscious mind. Conscious mind. Lower half, subconscious, or we can call it unconsciousness. Energy then flows. As you think, you go into your hard drive. If I say cat, dog, refrigerator, TV, you get a flash on the screen of your mind, just the same way as a telephone, radio, broadcasting station. As I say, the green dog, can you see the green dog? Now the green dog is 9 feet tall and is fixing to lick the top of your forehead. You see, I just accessed cells of recognition in your hard drive, and the image came flashing down on the screen of your mind as a vision. Visions are seen with the eye of consciousness. I activated your eye of consciousness, and I directed it. Flashed on the screen of your mind. You received emotion coming to your body. This is the instrument. This here is the instrument of the mind. Instrument. This feels and picks up the images and the energy that you transmute. If I say, go to the happiest place, happiest moment in your life, can you flash those images on the screen of your mind? Autumn, can you go to the happiest moment that you can remember, something that brings you happiness, gratitude, gratefulness? What would that image be? As she starts to flip, she's tapping in. Can you give me the image that you can feel transmute through your body, and this image is being live streamed over here in 3D, and you see it? You see it, a three-dimensional image in the 4D up. You didn't see it right here. You saw it in the mind's eye. Autumn? All I need is one. Happiness, gratitude, gratefulness. Don't get in your head. Going to the lake on her birthday. So she pulls the image, and then she sees it as a vision on the screen of her mind, and this energy flows, transmuted, and she sees and feels it with her mind's eye. Now, we have conscious mind, subconscious mind, a program. They say 95 to 98% of your behavior is habitual, it is subconscious, it is unconscious, and it is what was programmed from 0 to 5. Most dominant, up to 8, 21. The creation of the personality. Human observer. Doc, you want to let's put some other foresight in here. Do you have your demograph?
Oh yeah, the PowerPoint I made?
Yep.
Yes.
Let's go to the cabling of consciousness. And again, this is the cabling of consciousness and the image-making process that you go through. You're doing it every millisecond. You're just not aware of what you're doing. You say, I'm aware of what I'm doing. Well, if you're really aware of what you're doing, would you really be living the way you're living? You would have to say no, because you definitely would have chose something else. Surely, if you're God's greatest gift, why would you choose to do what you're doing? There's so much more. Go ahead.
Okay, ready? I would like to make an overview for all of you of what we're doing with Abraham so that you can get a context for what follows. What Abraham teaches people, teaches the world, is what is necessary for you to handle so that you can make sure that when you're going somewhere, you know where you're going and you get there. Okay? You're going somewhere, which is exactly, he's appealing to one of the basic functions of the human mind, where you can actually, without doing nothing outside, inside you can represent wherever it is that you want to go, and you always want to go somewhere. That's exactly how the mind does work. Okay, and in order for you to go somewhere and make sure you get there, okay, which will later imply taking into account the brain and the body. But before that, you have to know where you're going inside of your mind. Going somewhere is one of the services the mind, the actual mind, gives us. Okay, in order to go somewhere, there are a bunch of other mechanisms you have to put into motion here. Okay, and one of them is the capacity of generating images and purpose, ascribing purpose to the images. Imagination, and ascribing purpose to the imagination, giving it direction. In order to do that, you have to also to be able to learn how to align your energy systems, which is exactly what Abraham teaches with his I am meditation. So with this I am meditation, which allows you to align energy systems, which allows you to connect to your imagination and to your purpose, to the direction, which allows you the tools, which you go somewhere and get there, you are thriving within the context of time. Remember, time. I'll go into that a little bit further, okay? You are thriving within the context of time. Remember, you are moving into time, okay? And then on the other hand, there's a different thing. There's another mechanism inside of the mind that does not work with going somewhere. Please understand this. It does not work with going somewhere. It works with something completely antithetical, completely different, opposite. Is going nowhere. Okay? And going nowhere is something that the mind knows exactly how to do. But it has its own laws. It governs in a very different way than the mechanics for going somewhere and getting there. To go nowhere, you have to stop from trying to get somewhere. You have to stop. Even for a couple of seconds, you have to stop. Okay? And when you start, you stop, you go right there into the present. And when you stand in the present, okay, you're opening up a gift, because the present is a gift of nature. It's a space, a special space with a special sense of time that nature has given us so that we can stand there and look into what happens inside that space. And for that to happen, you have to go nowhere. You see, and when you go nowhere, look at the word nowhere. Look what happens with the word nowhere. You go now, here. Look at that. You go now, here. And when you do that, you find that now is compressed time. Compressed time. And here is compressed space. And right in the middle of the two, you can go in there. Right there, like through a funnel. Okay, and we have a technique, transcendental meditation, that does that for you. It does it for you. It does it to you. You don't do it. It does it for you. It uses the laws of nature that govern going nowhere. That's where TM works. Beautiful. In short, TM returns you to the present in its depth. Whereas, for example, I am meditation puts you into time and be able to move in time in a successful manner. You see, the difference here is very important. Now, in the middle, watch this. In the middle, okay, look what you have to do. This is what you have to do. They are called transformative imperatives. Transformative imperatives. They're imperatives because you have to do it.
Let's
okay, and they're transformative.
Before you go too far,
yes.
let's go into in that space, Ricardo, of no time.
Yes.
The TM allows, and I want everybody to understand, we've created a process that is helping people, and there may be a lot of people that have been in personal development, and there may be a lot of people that read a lot of books, but they have not been able to deprogram. That's the problem. They have not been able to unwind what they are. They haven't been able to let go of the program, and that controls their behavior. The TM that Ricardo's talking about, this allows you to be present here, now here. But what it does, it drops you into the unconscious consciously. Through the practice of these two meditations and through the research and study that we're teaching you, you can apply them all at one time, here and now. TM allows you to drop, but in between the drop, let's go into that space, Ricardo. That space is no time. Let's talk about that. That field.
Yes. The mind, the human mind. Okay, the mind as such, which is the object of my study for 50 years. I did the discovery that there's a difference between the brain. I'm a neuroscientist. I know what I'm saying here, and the mind. I'm a neuroscientist of consciousness, and the mind is a organ of perception. Watch what I'm saying. It is an organ of perception, literally. Okay, so much so that right in the middle, smack in the middle of the mind, there is an observer. What else can be an organ of perception? There's an observer right smack in the middle of the mind. But that observer has to be produced. It has to be produced, and it is produced between 0 and 21 years of age.
That's where
we understand.
That program was set in.
Exactly.
He was produced.
That's the time with. Yes, indeed. Yes. You see, it is not possible for you to be in the world through your mind without being conditioned. It is not possible. It has to. You have to be conditioned. The thing is, how are you conditioned?
Why must you be conditioned?
Why? Because one of the reasons, there are many, is that you have to survive your circumstances.
Where?
You must.
Where? Wherever you're at, here
As,
and now. Look at this. Wherever you're at,
yes.
here and now. So you
Yes.
get cognitive function of whatever is happening in the world, here and now, because you have to function in that here and now. Whether you were born in Japan in 1600s or you were born in Western Europe. If you're born in Italy, 1200 BC. So everything is congruent to the space in time where you came in. And you need that memory for
correct.
what?
Yes. That's one of the reasons why you have to be conditioned. And there are many mechanisms in the brain that will condition us, but all of them are to the service of one imperative.
Let's
you
look at
have to survive your circumstances.
Let's look at this. Have to survive is called mediumship. Huh? No? Who's the medium? Between what he sees, he hears, he tastes, he touches, and he smells. Who's the medium? Doctor, what's a medium?
It's a go between two different things, an interface.
Ah, and who's in?
What is it that make you unique? Uniqueness. And the other one is the observer that has to be produced. That's the mediumship.
Has to be produced so that he may function and may what?
May thrive and survive.
Thrive and survive. Hey, wow. Me, I, him, her, they. Mediums.
You know, a self to be conscious about.
And that allows for growth.
Yeah, exactly. And a sense of responsibility.
Of
and
what?
a sense of load.
Of what?
Responsibility for your own existence.
Everything
to being in charge of you.
There you go.
And everything around you. Yeah, and everything else around you that belongs to whatever is your responsibility. You feel of what am I in charge of here? You know, cannot be in charge of everything. That's other people's responsibility. But what are you in charge of?
And then that gives access to what?
To all the tools you need to be able to respond. And of course, yeah, the creation of those tools or the creation of opportunity and circumstances.
So we're looking at this observer that becomes conscious, his mediumship between a higher consciousness and a lower consciousness, and it gives him access to create his reality. Or conform.
Yep. That is very powerful. I want you guys to, all of you who are listening in right now, please be aware how much power is in you. So you have to work it out so that whatever else in you that feels powerless, it's a fiction.
And it's you.
It's a fiction.
It's all you. But it was the lying mind. Somebody else's beliefs. Because the true you is what? It's telling you, it's tapping you on the shoulder. You know we're more. You know we're more. You know we were meant for more. There's something inside of you always guiding you up to originate.
You know, I've been through so many authors on my journey to this moment. And one of them said something that really stuck with me. I want to repeat it. One of the things he says, one of the things that is really working against us is that obnoxious roommate that is always telling us that we can't. Yeah, the obnoxious roommate. I think that's a wonderful concept.
So let's go.
And we got to be able to get rid of that obnoxious roommate.
So let's hone in here. We have this TM where that allows us to have access to be here now, to silence some people call it the chattering mind, some people call it the monkey mind, but we have a tool that allows you to drop into your own subconscious, unconsciousness, and be here now, present. Now, this is where all the tools come into place. You've got to be awake in imagination to be here now. It does you no good to tap into the unseen part of your personality and go nowhere. This is where the field becomes conscious. Consciousness can explore its own identity in no time, no thing, no place, nowhere, full access. This is where we're going.
Yeah. So from when you are there, you experience the depth that is in there, and then you come out again into the rest of the mind, the chattering mind, if you wish. Then going somewhere makes a lot of sense. You see,
because you're getting access to everything here and now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a direction you can give it, and the brain needs direction, needs you to direct it. The brain.
If not, it goes back to what it knows.
Yeah.
You got to be when we're teaching this, it does you no good to silence your mind consciously if you can't silence the subconscious. You can say all day long that I'm focused. That's your conscious side of your personality. And they say the conscious side of your personality only controls 2 to 4% of reality. You got to silence this mind that operates 95 to 98% of your reality. This thing is thinking all the time. And this is a law of vibration that everybody in the world is trying to find out, this law of attraction. Attraction is a secondary law. If you do not know how to get access into the primary law, which is vibration, it doesn't matter how many books you read. Because you have to awaken the imagination in the unseen part of your personality. And become
what Abraham is saying, that in between these two, the I am meditation, the TM meditation, okay, these are techniques. But in between the two techniques, there's you. So you got to take care of yourself, not only by using these two techniques on you, but you as a personality, as a human being that wants to be in the world. What are the aspects of you got to take care of yourself? Here's just a little bit of it. I call them the imperatives of transformation. You have to become the best version of yourself slowly, reprogram yourself, rewire your brain. That's important, very important. Recover your authenticity, make new decisions, create new memories, redefine your expectations, transform your emergency reactions. I hope I have enough time to show you that. It's very interesting what that implies, okay? So let me continue with this. And since you are born inside the mind, here in the mind, the Aquarius of the mind, this is the surface, this is the depth of the mind, okay? You still have to go out into the world through the brain. You've got to. There's no other way. Because the brain is the one in charge of handling the wiring that controls 640 muscles in your body, with which you can do and with which you can say. You see? So here we have a technology. We handle technology. It's called neurofeedback. And that changes the way the electrical behavior of the brain that oftentimes is stuck in old patterns of old programs that still have not been disassembled. So this all works very nicely.
There's the issue.
What's that?
There's the issue. A lot of people are trying to go somewhere without disassembling what they are. You got to literally change yourself.
Yeah.
Our programs are not to play around with. If you want to be normal, keep doing what you're doing. You have no place here. Normal's out there.
We want you to be aware, dear friend, if you're listening to us right now, we want you to be aware that you are the only person responsible of what you do with the time that life has assigned to you.
You've all you got.
Nobody else.
You.
Yeah.
You are all you've got.
So, talking about time, let me show you the frame in which you have to develop yourself. Okay. First of all, let's look at this one. Here you're born 0 8. You're born. You're the thing. What do they call it? The belly button thing? The umbilical cord is cut here. There you breathe on your own for the first time in your life, all the way to 21 years of age. Okay, and everything here is 7,665 days. Okay, divided into several stages. Okay, so here is the framework of where you start existing and start being in the world. Okay, and the brain, the mind, consciousness all play the role in this framework of time from 0 to 21 years of age. Okay, now take any one day in this 6,665 days. Take any one day you want and open it up. You're going to find it 24 hours. There's the 24 hours in which you're living it up, living it in, living it out, living it up, living it off, whatever. These are the 24 hours in which you are living,
And
actually
you're
existing, surviving.
You're literally spawning a continuality every 24 hours.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's
Literally
exactly
coming
what you're
out
doing.
of your consciousness. You're being reborn
No,
again
watch
every
this.
24 hours. Every millisecond.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tomorrow
No.
does not exist. There's no such thing as tomorrow. When you arrive tomorrow, you're here now again.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly where I'm going. Very good. Very, very good. So you got those 24 hours. Watch. Look what happens with within those 24 hours, okay? Those are the time. That's the time in which there are processes that are making you happen. We understand them now. Not perfectly, but enough to talk about them now. There are processes. Watch these words, please. There are processes that are spawning you, that are making you happen every millisecond. Why do I say millisecond? It's not just a random word. No. I say millisecond because that's the scale of time in which the brain is generating all the wiring that supports your existence. In the millisecond. What is a millisecond? Take 1 second and divide it in 1,000 equal parts. Take just 1 second and divide it in 1,000 equal parts. That second, there's 86,400 seconds in one day. 86,400 seconds in 24 hours. That's what it is. Now take one of them, just one, and divide it in 1,000 equal parts. Okay? Now take 60 of those 1,000. That's called 60 milliseconds. That's the time frame in which the brain is wiring all the necessary connections for you to come into existence into your body. 60 milliseconds. Do you realize the speed of that? Okay, how is it I can be aware of that, which is so fast? Simple. Because one of those processes that come out of the brain, there are processes that come out of the mind and consciousness itself, but I'm talking about the brain right now. One of the processes that come out of the brain is attention. Attention is a byproduct of the brain. You see, and you can use attention to go back into the brain and tap into that 1,000th of a second. You can do that from your own mind. That is why the mind, the observer, is so fast, because it can be conscious every thousandth of a second. But do you live that way? Are you aware of your existence every thousandth of a second? Do you pay attention to your existence, to your actions every thousandth of a second? Of course you don't. Why? Because you're trapped in programs that don't allow you to do that. So what are you doing with your time that time has assigned to you? You see the question? You see what it implies for you? You see? So you have to pay one price if you want to start living every millisecond and discover yourself every couple of milliseconds. Or there's another price you say, no, that's too much work, man. I don't want to do that. Okay, fine. That's your choice. But there's another price you will have to pay. Which price do you want to have to pay? See what I'm saying? See the implications of these questions, buddies? You see what it implies, man? So the question is, how are you inhabiting that time life has assigned to you? You have to wake up, man. Because otherwise you keep on sleeping and you inhabit it within the programs that already have you. And they do with you whatever it is you have to do. They have They're there because you have to survive according to them. Okay, so let's look at the framework a little more. Look at that watch. Look at the second hand, how it moves. Each move is a second. But within 1 second, there are 60 milliseconds in which you come into existence out of the 1,000 milliseconds. Look at the speed, man. Look at the speed. Are you capable of being aware at that time scale? Because you can. But do you want to? Do you want to learn to do that? You see what I'm saying? So the tools we can give you, TM and IM meditation, can allow you to handle that, man. Look at that. That's a millisecond. In every second. Watch that. Look at the speed, man. But you have attention. Attention will allow you to do that. But you have to want to be able to do that. And the only way you can do that is, are you conscious? Are you an observer that is conscious of its own existence? Because if you want to do that, if you live that way, then you have access to that millisecond. Definitely. You see, it is at your disposal if you want it. Now, you want to look how the millisecond looks like. Watch. Look. That's the speed. And it's within your reach, man. All you got to do is practice. But practice what? I'll show you. I'll show you. This is why we're here. I'll show you. I hope I have enough time. So look at 8 milliseconds. Look at 80 milliseconds. Look at 800 milliseconds. 8 milliseconds is faster than 800, but 800 lasts longer than 8 milliseconds. You see, and in between 8 milliseconds and 80 milliseconds, look at this, there's the speed. You come into existence in every 60 milliseconds. Literally, the wiring allows you to become somatized, become physical through your brain and your body. That way, either you can talk about things, you can start doing things about it. 60 milliseconds, every second. There are 86,400 seconds in every day. That's the challenge for you. You want it for yourself? It's up to you, man.
Yeah,
so
let's
from going somewhere, yes,
go
ahead.
Let's change challenge to that's the opportunity for you.
Fine, good, okay.
That is the
Fine.
opportunity for you to become anything you want to become. Literally.
Literally, yes.
You are in the making. The problem is you're normally making your old self again every millisecond. You choose. You choose by not choosing, not making a decision, not making a decision to master your own mind, not making a decision to change reality. When you keep deciding to go to the same job, to the same place, to do the same thing every single day, that's a choice. Did you know that you are not supposed to repeat the lessons? Any of you that have gone over 3 years, 5 years, and you're repeating the same lifestyle, you're repeating the same results, means you're not learning, means you're not growing. Education is not teaching you things, not teaching you words, not teaching you books. Education is teaching you to behave as you would never have behaved. You've finished educating yourself. You can never go any more than what you are. Once you have finished educating your mind and brain, you repeat. I repeated lesson for 1,400 days, expecting something outside to change outside of myself. I woke up
That's
one
the
day.
definition of insanity.
Yeah, but it was only 1,400 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. You will repeat the lessons until you decide to change yourself. This is real. This is your life. You can only keep producing what you are until you decide what you are is actually more than what you're expressing. That requires awareness. That requires guts. That requires a bulletproof attitude. Let's look at, we're going to tap on some of these slides real quick. If you guys will switch me over to the slides. This mind that is an energy, mind is not seen. The mind works in two ways. We've been going through it, conscious, subconscious, the body. And then here we have these agents of the mind. Let's talk a little bit about the agency of the mind, Ricardo. What is the thing that's holding you back? Why were you getting stuck? What is that invisible thing that the minute you're wanting to go beyond, you're wanting to take that, and it pulls you back? What is that function that is pulling you right back to where you are? Why do you keep doing what you know you shouldn't be doing? Let's open up this imagination, which is called mind, which is called psyche, and how it operates. Let's go into the agency of the mind that controls the observer, that controls the cybernetic mechanism that keeps you in alignment with repeating the days, repeating the job, repeating your awareness. Let's go into that. This is huge.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, indeed.
If you guys will keep me on time as well, we're supposed to be doing about an hour of...
How long? How much more do we have?
Let's give about 10 minutes, and let's go into the agency of the mind that is controlling the observer that thinks.
Okay. I want you to please bear this in mind, all of you. I hope there's millions of people watching this. There is not only this imperative of going somewhere. The mind needs that, okay? And you have to provide that direction for the mind. And the mind will give orders to the brain to do what that direction wants the brain to do. But you have to give the orders to the mind. Where do the orders come from? From within you, from within the observer. Way behind the observer, there's a mechanism, literally, that makes you happen. So how does that express in time? Because the place where the observer is born has no time. There's a compressed time, there's a compressed space, which you can actually go in there and find yourself dwelling already there. But that's a different mechanism from what I want to talk to you right now. When you're going somewhere, which means you are invoking a more superficial mechanism, but important mechanism of the mind. When you're going somewhere, look at this, please. At the same time, but unaware of it, and that's the problem, you're not aware of it. At the same time that you are aware of going somewhere, you're not aware that there's something else happening at the same time. What is? You're becoming. You are becoming. Look at this. Okay? And this becoming will determine the agency, your agency on the brain. This becoming. Look at this. Okay? And what are you becoming? There's two questions here. Ask those questions to yourself right now. Do you become what you already are? Watch this. Or are you becoming what you are not? So I was talking to this the other day, and a person says, how can you become what you already are? If you already are, how do you become it? Very good question. Because your being, not the becoming aspect, your being is organized inside the nowhere space, the now here. This is the space literally where your being is actually organized. And how is the being organized there? It depends upon how conscious the observer wants to be. If the observer is conscious, and then it directs its being conscious, it directs it to itself, it becomes conscious of itself, it is conscious of itself. The fact of being conscious of its own existence generates a self. But it is only a result if it is conscious of its own existence as an observer. See what I'm saying? Okay, and if that happens in you, then the fact that you are conscious of your own existence generates a self. And what is the self? It's another word for your being. Being. You see what I'm saying? It's to show yourself in your own terms, in the terms that makes you authentic, to make your decisions in your own terms, in the terms of your own authenticity, to develop your own autonomy, to develop your own authority, to develop your own assertiveness, to develop your own agency.
Now let's look.
That's what it means. Being.
Let's look at this.
So let me just finish this sentence.
Yep.
So are you becoming what you already are? that being, or you're not becoming that because you don't know what you are.
Let's look at the way the agency is being built. Are you guys able to switch over? Okay. Now, consciousness, pure light, spirit. You're a spiritual being experiencing a physical reality. No doubt about it. The minute that spirit leaves, body flatlines, falls to the ground, you're off to another place. That's just the way it is. You can watch a baby, a child being born, and they've said they have checked the child, and it could be perfect. Every organ, everything perfect about that little child. But if that spirit cannot, that divine spark cannot make the connection, does not make the contact or the connection, and enters into flow, immediately, that child, that body, begins to disintegrate immediately. They cannot bring it to life, it's gone. Goes back to earth, where it came from. What gives it life? The spark. The brain in the body has no life and power without that divine spark, or without the mother's divine spark giving it life to develop itself into a child, into a new, what? Instrument. That's right. A new instrument for consciousness to work through. For a new light to become aware inside of a new instrument. Huh? Now watch. As that new light comes in, it comes into a field of awareness. And as it comes into this pockets of information, it develops what is known as the agency of the mind. And then this agency begins to what we call think. So this agency is coding, which is coding is direction, GPS. It takes this energy and it assembles the identity, or you want to call it the observer. The one that thinks. The one that maybe later on imagines into this field or thinks at this level of vibration from where it came in. So here we have this field of consciousness. The average individual does not go beyond this awareness, and he thinks, he imagines, but he's not using pure imagination. He's imagining with You thought you were thinking. But as you think, the agency has already been developed in you. You are going to the agency, and the agency normally decides what you're going to do and not do. Down here, you're observing reality, and you're wanting to decide what you want. But as you want to decide what you want, you check with the agency. The agency says, yeah, you can't do that because we don't know how. Yeah, you're better off seeing where you're at. Why? Because this is the memory bank that is normally selecting without you even being aware. And it will send little chemicals down to your body to tell you, oh, fear, doubt, and worry. Oh, don't do that. Oh, we aren't supposed to go there. Who do you think you are? Yeah. Who do you think you are? We're not that. We're not like them. We weren't born like them. You thought you were thinking. But as you go to reason, you're not reasoning with anyone other than yourself, the program self. programs. You're actually reasoning with programs. And it thinks. You got to supersede the agency. And if you cannot, your vibration cannot go beyond the observer, your reasoning factors, your observer way of thinking, if you cannot go beyond it, if you can't go beyond the agency of the mind, you're not going to go beyond yourself. This is huge when you really begin to reason, to listen. This agency, we can call it the government. Once the government has been established, we can say left governing factor, a right governing factor, and each one has its senators. Once they set the A laws, left, right, what's possible for you, what's not possible, these are thinking, contemplating, creativity. Now we can't go there. What do you know? Well, this is what we know. This is our logic. This is where we came into. This is what we know. Where are you going? You can't go there. Who do you think you are? And here we have this duality of consciousness. Of what consciousness? It wasn't even yours. We have this separation of consciousness dividing itself and arguing with itself, and you're up here in the middle of this whole thing as the observer, you think, and you're looking, well, should I do it? Should I not do it? Do we go? Do we don't go? Oh, you get emotional, your creativity goes up, and you say, I want, and then the logic comes in and says, who do you think you are? Have this battle, and you're here in the center, you just say, well, just forget it. I'll just go back to what I know. How often is this happening? All the time. Every millisecond. Why? Because you just don't know any better.
What Abraham is describing, guys, is what do you become? Did you become what you're not? That's exactly what he's describing. The mechanics of when you became what you are not.
Yeah, you're not who you think you are. You're actually who you think you're not. All this time. And you play a game with yourself. The truth is, it's one consciousness if you can control the flow. It's separate whenever you separate. Let's look at this vital life force. Vital life force is pure light. And then you take that pure light and you separate. And you argue with yourselves. No? You say, I don't argue with myself. I never talk to myself. You're doing it right now. When you don't know this, you're just in limbo down here. And you say, forget it. The hell with it. I'll just do what I know. Right? Agency of the mind. It's directing you, and it already has access to you because it's you. Not the real you. The beliefs about you. The ideas you've told yourself. The same practices that you keep practicing over. Once a belief has been made, the average individual just keeps practicing the same belief. And they plan another belief on the top of that belief. And they say, I'm going to get up today and I'm going to go. And when you don't go, guess what? All you did was stack another belief on top of the originating belief that you're worthy of more, that you can achieve more. Every time you stack a belief on top of an existing belief, you're just compounding more interest. In the wrong direction. We're at our time for the allotted time. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, everybody that's live streaming. Send us a message. Get involved with yourself. You're never going to change, but you can change here. If you're willing to bet on yourself, we can take you anywhere you want to go. Thank you, guys. And if you want to stay for the rest of the class, send us a message. Get in the Zoom. Let me know when we're off link. Facebook.